we are live.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's been a while. And apparently the captions seem to be stuck on stuff, so I'm gonna see what is going up. Why don't we take a producer distraction? Why don't we go introduce ourselves around the table while I figure out why our captions are stuck where they are?
Oh no. Captions, what are you doing? Maybe I just need to talk more so it like breaks it up.
Oh no! It's working fine on our meet.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
not
see it's
showing.
not working on chat.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm gonna
Ooh, that's a
turn it
problem.
off and turn it on.
That's fair. Turn it off, turn it on again. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, that's how things work.
All right.
Drew.
Anyway, I'll start it. I will. Hi, Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. You can find me on all the socials at Serena Bezos. I am the chaotic dirt child of this group, playing Tulsi, who uses they, them pronouns. So, hi.
And
Wait, does Anino go next or do I go next?
Battle Royale. Duke it out.
All right. Hey, I'm Bashir Gauss, he, him. I play Rahim, a giant lizard and nominally a private investigator. In practice, something of an all-purpose scoundrel. Um, and yeah, I generally cause problems. Might be a reasonable description of him. And he has a potentially fatal ring stuck on his finger at all times that a lot of people are willing to kill him for.
then
Hi, my name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and for this campaign, I play Gojin, also known as Nabir, but nobody else knows that yet. And they use he, him pronouns. He is a tea farmer, I guess, with some passing skills in fisticuffs that some people are not comfortable with. I don't know. T himbo. Thank you. Or got me jerking.
He, him.
T himbo.
I'm using that from now on. That's my class.
You're T himbo. Wonderful. Yeah, as you can see, unfortunately, Connie's not feeling well, so they are not available to join us, and they play Junsely in this game. Our spooky doctor, kind of crabby, always mouthing off, and they will be, and Jensley's character goes by she, her pronouns, and she will be in the background while we continue our adventure, which is a bit of a road trip at the moment. And oh yes, I forgot to talk about myself. I am Mariam, they, them. I will be the guide for this story. Actually, you know what? Jensley perhaps maybe did drink a weird potion that put her out of commission. We could totally go with that.
Science got the better of her.
Yes, science got the better of her. So if you have been tuning in and watching all of our episodes, or even some of our episodes, or even one, you will know, or if you haven't and this is your first time, welcome. What I like to do for a recap, since it's been a while, well, no, it doesn't really change the thing, but I like the players to recap what happened, because it is that that's just how I do it. But if there's any information that is important for moving forward, I will of course fill you all in on that. So who would like to do the recap?
Oh yeah, I have notes. I can start, and then y'all can fill in the holes.
Sounds like a plan.
Let me get to it. All right. We're still at this building. It hasn't been touched in 30 years, and there's a lot of erosion, and the wood's rotted, and all that good stuff. There's a tulsi plant there that's like a dried husk, and my little tulsi went to go make a friend with it. Rahim was looking for goods. Outside, they're burying the bones. And once more, Johnsley and Gojin were quibbling. Johnsley's trying to get more info out of Gojin. His farm is the northeast, and Johnsley can't handle black tea. Do you like my notes? Do you like what I consider important? Inside, Rahim is trying to use tomes to get info from the books that are in the area. The family was doing well, then overnight just stopped making money. And just if you are concerned, Tulsi did revive the Tulsi plant and then made it sprout some. Rahim found vellum pages in the drawers. Kaniz. I don't know if I pronounced that or said that. I wrote that right.
Kaniz. Yeah.
A companion / servant is always mentioned to be with the patriarch Loari. During the Registani desert, they stopped and did some exploring. They found a ring on the road while resting. They found the cursed ring. That's how I wrote it. That's how they made a lot of money. That's also how I wrote it.
That's how the notes are, just that.
They're all in caps. Kaniz turned to dust one day and left the ring behind. Oh, there are plans coming together to take down the family by the three of them while Tulsi runs off to find more locked items. I don't remember what I wrote in because of that. I found 3 boxes, a wood box, a metal box, and a stone box. The wood box had a pawn kit. The metal box had some things that could be appraised, and the stone box had vials of strong smelling oils, which have degraded over time. Those are my notes. That's all I got. I don't remember the rest.
Fair enough.
What do you got?
So I figured out why the subtitles, because apparently it does this thing where if I do not have it as my active window, it kind of freezes.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it didn't used to do that before, so I'm going to be running OBS blind for now for the time being. But go ahead. We're total professionals here. Very professional.
Yeah, we're told. Yep, exactly how it is. Goj and Rahim, y'all want to add anything to my list of notes?
Let's see. We'd found a bunch of stuff on the how the family, like what the family's specific scam was and how they implemented it. We'd gotten the actual names of the current family patriarch and some of the other people involved. Let's see. And I'm blanking on specific. Oh, we got an old family seal, so we could theoretically impersonate letters from them as long as those letters were sent like 10 years ago. Which is a limitation, but I think it's one we can work with.
Or they decided to go old school and bring it back.
Yes.
I'm bringing old stamps back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that covers the bulk of it if there's anything else you would like to add. And I believe what you all had decided prior to the end of last game was to head to that border village and hop on back with that caravan you were traveling with. Which I think I totally have names for written now.
Always a good sign.
Yeah, just don't ask me to name thing on the spot.
Find things to name on the spot. Understood.
Yeah, so you all make your way to the border town, which is Baniapur, which is on the edge of where you start getting into the Registan area. So while this was a somewhat overgrown little village that you had. The area around you is kind of heading into the more desert, inland desert sort of a vibe. You're not quite like the northern edges of Registan are not like pure desert. It's really the central part and kind of the edges all around what would be considered the region of Registan is more sort of mountain or kind of hilly. So you're still kind of in this arid, I guess would be the word, climate and sort of area. And as you get to Banyapur, you see that this town is very much kind of a transitional, not transitional, it's very much a pit stop sort of a village where there are residents, there are people, but there's a lot of traffic and a lot of sort of the trade as well as the services provided are meant for travelers. And you see that most of the village is essentially this I'm having trouble with the word, but it's essentially a I guess unbricked. It's more like a large pavilion of dirt where people can set up tents, can set up caravans, can set up all sorts of like it's an open market slash. There's a term in Hindi that I'm having trouble translating. It's like kacha, which means like raw, but that's not what it means in this context. It's like just there's nothing built for permanence.
Yeah, it's like kind of a teardown market, I guess.
Yeah,
Everything there's
like a farmer's market where it's not quite. Yeah, so that's sort of what you see as you enter the town. And you can quite easily spot the caravan and head to it. What do y'all do? Do you discuss anything on the road?
Let's see. Do we have anything urgent to discuss? I think Rahim's going to bring up just so theoretically, should we tell the caravanners that by us being with them, corporate assassins may or may not drop out of the sky and try to kill everyone involved in the middle of the night? Like, is that a thing we should be telling them because they're at risk, or be keeping secret for the obvious reason?
Are they birds? You said dropping out of the sky. Do they turn into birds? Can they do things like I can?
God, I hope not.
I'm
going to have nightmares about that idea.
You said drop out of the sky. That's just where my brain went. I'm sorry.
You know,
it's on you.
I feel like maybe we could just pass them off as bandits. I mean, there's an equal chance they might get robbed by bandits.
Fair enough.
But I'm not sure if I would say we can protect them so they don't get robbed by bandits.
Right. So, and if anything, I think it's a fair trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Johnson?
Protection. We got the people possibly hunting us. You know, it just equals out.
You just hear a groan, a very, very small and slightly distant groan coming out in the general direction of Junsely.
Yeah. See, Johnsley agrees.
Do you have like a baby Bjorn with Johnsy in it?
I could. I mean,
I don't think Junsely's that small.
I mean, I feel like it's more that Gojin is just that strong, a full-grown person.
Fair enough. Geez, let's see. Yeah, that's fair enough. So then we're gonna stick with not telling them. do we want to try and pawn any of this excess stuff? Like, is there anything you feel you need moving forward before we, catapult out towards the wherever this ring came from?
I think. Are we going to the desert, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you know from speaking with the caravan you were traveling with that they're going in the general direction, not quite through it. At some point you'll need to split and part ways to get to where you need to go, but you will, at least for the first half of what they're going into Registan, you will be traveling in the same direction, and maybe have a couple of pit stops, and stuff.
All right, so we're going to the desert. We need water. We need food. We need light clothes, from what I've heard. Right there, it's just
Yep.
Yeah, like you want to get light colors, no
Yeah,
dark colors, linens.
yeah. That's what Tulsi's going for, and they're like, oh, we need hats. We need mud.
Always a high priority.
We need
A veil can do in a pinch.
oh yeah. I was just thinking like mud to cover our faces so we don't get burnt.
You will get plenty of mud on the road as well as. Well,
Yeah,
you'd
that
have to
sounds-
add. You need to. What is it? Just add water.
Just water. See, this is our drinking water. This is our mud water. There's a difference.
Are you gonna be like Katara, where it's like there's this little jug of water that is just used for everything water bending related, and this is your mud water?
Yes, exactly. Exactly what it is. I know we have jewelry that we don't need. Can we maybe use that in trade, y'all?
Yeah, you certainly could. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I would actually
viable.
say you wouldn't need that for basic goods like water and like I would say those are trading goods that are good for perhaps something that's harder to find.
got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So
Let's
did you get
see.
enough tea? Or do you need to get some pick some pick up more tea?
I think I have enough tea.
Okay. Johnsley, you need anything?
Another groan.
No, okay.
And a couple of grunts, which mechanically is if Connie/Junsley did want to pick up something, assume that she had
They
the
just
opportunity to
got
do
it.
so. There, it's written in the story. It's canon now. But yeah. Junsley is nursing whatever Junsley was doing in the name of science.
Bravely going where no human has gone, or where I forget species.
I believe human.
Oh yeah, where no human has gone before, in terms of inebriation.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so you can definitely get those supplies. Water is not so scarce here that it would be considered a commodity that perhaps you may need some favors. You can carry essentially as much as the caravan and your personal allowance allows, sort of a thing, in terms of you can grab enough for perhaps a couple of days, and then hopefully you can replenish at wherever you're going next. Okay. Sorry, you were gonna say something?
I just, it sounds good.
Okay, cool. Is there anything you want to do in this town aside from supplies, or do we just cut straight to journeying on the road, our little road trip?
Not particularly. I think we just catch up with the caravan and get on the road.
Also, unless you are using magic or skills or whatever to send any sort of information to anyone, just as a. It doesn't have to mean anything. I'm just sort of clarifying that usually in the downs is where you can send mail, essentially.
Ah.
So if
Oh,
there's
that's
any
good
mail
to
you
know.
want to send, this would be the place to do it. You can't do it on the road unless you have magic or something else working for you.
Oh, I will send a letter to my family.
Okay, yeah.
And I think just takes a piece of paper and like scribbles on it. It's like, dear mom and dad, I'm going to the desert! Exclamation point. Hopefully I don't burn. Sad face. I definitely remember to get mud. Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Love y'all. Tulsi. It just spells it out.
Okay, then. Let us... Okay, hopefully this should make it a little better by changing my windows a little. Alrighty. Let us, head on the road. So, as you... It takes you a couple of days, as you journey on this caravan, and Junsely does get a little better, and then decides to do a little more science, and well, is going to be nursing whatever the results of what happened. And you make your first pit stop in like a week or two. So far, things have been good. You have not been chased by anyone. You have not had any troubles on the road. At most, the most troubling thing is boredom in certain places where it looks like it's just flat land and desert for miles and miles and miles. And perhaps a little concern for Junsely nursing whatever Junsely's nursing, but Junsely will be fine. Your other friend, Uncle Cat, has been quite silent and brooding and has actually not gotten into any mischief whatsoever. Has just curled up as a cat would and just has been sleeping most of the time. You stop at your pit stop is just a little unique. Maybe not unique to this region, but unique to all of you for the first time. It is simply a large tree. Very, very large. And with, it looks like areas for campfires and other things all around it. There's no town here. There's nobody really, there's no town. It's just a big tree. Quite similar to the layout tree. The thing that makes this unique about this tree is that there's a lot of strings that are tied to its branches, and hanging from them are little dolls. Not by the neck, by the hand, almost like puppets.
Gonna go and hug the tree.
All
Like
right.
Tulsi to the tree and like so like finally we're stopping, and just jumps out and goes to run and hug it.
And as you hug it, you hear a little tinkling of bells, and you notice aside from little dolls hung up, there's little bells also hung from this tree. And as the wind blows through it, they have a little sort of bell ringing sound, very small, like tinkling, like twinkling almost.
Oh. And that's I think they actually run ahead of the cart before the cart actually gets there, and I think everybody's coming up now.
Yeah, and you notice the caravan doesn't actually stop in front of the tree, but a very respectful distance away from it, and slightly off the main beaten path. and the person you know as the elder sister, whose name is actually Lachi, she says, "I hope you're sort of has this concerned look on her face, and she says, maybe you should tell your friend that not every tree should be hugged."
Is it poisonous?
No, no, it's not poisonous. It's just old, and some say haunted.
Oh, she's fine with that.
Rob just, Dulcie, please back away slowly from the tree.
Why?
It might be haunted.
But it's so nice.
Ghosts, Tulsi, we have enough problems. Please do not add ghosts to them.
And I think Tulsi lets go of the tree and just like sort of pats and is like, I'll be back.
As you
And-
do, you actually hear many whispers. There, you can't make any sense of the whispers, but you hear many whispers. And the minute you stop touching the tree, the whispers go away.
And I think you see Tulsi just standing there, just like staring up at the tree.
And you see the
And
little
just, like-
puppets kind of like flying in the breeze. The puppets are like, I would say, a couple of inches, like size, about the size of your felt one, so like 6 or 8 inches.
You mean? No, it fell off. Okay. Like this?
Yeah,
This little-
they're maybe a little bigger, but like only like a couple of inches bigger.
Yeah.
And they're very, the Punch and Judy, the marionette show type of puppets, kind of like that, where it's like straight hands and straight legs, and they're wearing clothing very similar to the Registani region, and they're just kind of swinging in the air, their hands kind of moving, dancing. There's
I
like
think-
maybe a dozen, and they all look like they're different ages, like they've been hung or they've been there at various different times and stages.
Rahim just leans back and asks our guide, so what's up with the haunted tree?
Well, I can't confirm if it's haunted or not. They just told me, like, the couple of times when we've been here, we used to camp much closer, but ever since my younger sister started hearing things, this is an important place to rest because there is a well nearby, and points to about, since the land is quite flat, like several hundred feet away, a well. Where there must be some groundwater and you can fill your skins and everything and people can get a drink.
Does your sister hear things often, or was this a tree thing?
Well, she's very sensitive to things that I can't see. So you'll have to ask her, but when she says it's very noisy and that she can't sleep, I listen.
Well, I'm going to go check that out if you don't mind.
As long as it doesn't rub off you and then rub off me.
No guarantees. I have very lax safety standards. There are no guarantees.
And she just gives that and starts preparing to sort of make camp for the evening. Gojin, what do you... Oh, sorry. I should mention the well is like a step well, so it's actually like you can go down the stairs and there's a reservoir of water and it's like rainwater and other things. So you can actually have a bath there. You can kind of, as well as drawing water, and it's a lot cooler down there than where you are now.
To know.
If you don't know what a stepwell is, do all of you know what a stepwell is?
Yep.
I bet Google does.
And if you ever play Civ and play the Indian faction, you get stepwells as a thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
these
so
are pretty.
there's a lot of steps and everything, and it's essentially a recess like into the ground, where I believe it does actually hit groundwater or it hits some sort of a natural reservoir of water, and it allows like a dwelling or like a village or whatever to kind of have a place where they can grab water, they can cool off, they can have communal washing and baths and all that stuff. And it's a unique little feature. Yeah, so there's just a stepwell in the middle of nowhere. No, and this tree. Yeah,
I think at this point, Tulsi comes back and they're like, you can tell that like they're walking calmly, but there's like a look on their face like something happened while I was over there. Like, and like try not to power walk, but you know, in their hearts of hearts, they want to power walk back, but they don't want to offend the tree. And
I think that ship has sailed. I mean, just going to put it out there.
look, hugging the tree and being nice to it is not offending it.
I think the tree gets to decide.
You're not wrong. But I think Tulsi gets back and like looks at the tree like over their shoulder and like looks back at them and is like, so I thought it was cute because there's dolls and bells hanging in the trees. You know,
The word you're
like,
looking for is ominous.
no, it was delightful because they're like little ornaments. And I might have heard voices when I was hugging it. And as soon as I let go, I stopped hearing them.
What did they say?
I don't know. There was a lot of them. They're all talking at once. It's very rude.
I think maybe you should go teach them a lesson in etiquette.
They're gonna just look down at their dirty, grubby self and like look back up at Gojin and be like,
Conversational etiquette.
"You think I know that?
Oh, I think so. I mean,
I'm
you
not
make friends with-
educated. Where's John's? Oh, John's so passed out.
Yeah, no, I think you should totally check this thing out and, see if it has any additional wisdom to share.
You might be onto something.
Here, I will
Decision.
prepare.
I look forward to seeing how that goes for you, Gojin.
Here, I will brew some tea for you so that you can have a nice, pleasant conversation with this tree.
What tea do you brew?
That's a very good question.
See, I feel like this is where it's like, so hey, what's the name of this person I just thought of right this minute? That's a good question.
No, it's more that it's more that I don't remember what my character's former partner is. Just some of this Pathari blend that I picked up at the city.
Oh. It would be better if I did it at night. Right before we're going to bed and like it's, a good setting.
Yeah, and then you can make a little fire and if something goes wrong, you can sort of just
like a little sleepover.
Yeah, and then if something goes wrong, you can use the fire to light the tree.
No. That's not nice.
I'm just throwing it out there in case it's haunted and you need to clean it. I hear fire is a very good cleanser in magic.
It's fine. It'll be okay. Ryan, what do you think?
I think this is a terrible idea, but I'm also not going to stop you. I'm going to, I'm going to ask the younger of our caravaneers if she researched anything, because evidently she also heard voices while hanging out around this tree.
And I think Tulsi's just gonna be like, Auntie, you heard voices too?
And you hear a, who are you calling auntie?
You're older than me. Everybody's an auntie. I'm sorry.
And says, and jokes aside, says, what do you mean hearing voices?
Oh yeah,
Where?
we were just the tree.
Oh, that one. And kind of looks at it and makes a bit of a face and it says, wait, you hear them too?
Oh, when I hugged it, I did. I gave it a hug and it started talking to me. Actually, I don't know. It was a singular day or multiple days. I think it was multiple days. There were a lot of voices.
And her name's Bia, by the way. She has a
Auntie
name.
Bia.
And she says, yeah, when we first started doing the trips and we would actually use like stay under the shade because it does have a impressive canopy. And she says, at night they were all talking. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but they were talking and it was so loud and I couldn't sleep and I told them to shush and I thought it was everyone else, but it wasn't. And then I realized it was coming from the tree and I don't think they're harmful. I don't think they mean harm. It's just that it's very hard to get any sleep under there and I think this must be some sort of, I don't know, a rest stop for wandering souls who don't know where to go and have just decided to stay here.
Really? That makes sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. Have you did you look into it at all, like between your various trips out here? Have you seen what local legends there are or anything, or has this just been a personal interest thing?
Well, I did speak to some of the caravans and traders that live in the nearby area, as well as nearby can be, and it seems to me like some, I mean, there's various tales. Some say they're wandering souls, some say they are spirits that when they feel bored will possess someone and decide to travel within someone. That was partly why my sister said to stay away, because she swore that one night I started talking about having to count my chickens, and I started going around throwing seed and trying to call my chickens home, and we've never had chickens. And since the chicken incident, we've been sleeping far away so that we don't be attractive to those spirits if they decide we're bored being on this tree and we're gonna hop in you. Also, if you see someone else, they might not be from here.
I mean, no one's from here. This is a stopping point, right?
Yeah, but when I used the stepwell, a couple of months ago, to, when I went to the well to have a bath and everything, there was a young a young girl is just sitting there at the edge of the well, staring at me.
Well, that's terrifying.
A little. I mean, she didn't approach me or anything. She just stared at me.
You're acting like that's better. It's not. It's really not.
She was
I'm not
really
sure why
pretty.
you think that's better.
She was dressed in like red and gold, and she had these golden bangles that had sort of bells hanging from them. She looked like a bride.
Huh. Good to know. Let's see. Wait a minute. Oh.
Gojin just looks
Tulsi,
at.
How do you feel about going into the stepwell? How do you feel about stepwells? I mean, I'm going in, but I do not want to go in there alone.
Gojin, you want to come with us?
He thinks about it for a moment. And, you know what? What the hell? I'm bored.
All right, stepwell time. Let's go.
Great. And he will actually, if it's all right with everybody, he's going to bring Johnsley with them. You know, like just sort of as it'll little backpack just to, you know, in case they need a decoy.
Don't put Johnson like that. Don't do that.
I know. I'm kidding. Okay. We'll go. But he's going to actually bring his sword with him.
The stabby stab sword?
It's more like slashy slash, but you know.
Oh, right.
It could
The
stab,
murder sword.
but it's
The sword that murders.
It's better off slashy slash.
To be fair, all swords try to commit murder.
This one's pretty good at it and very enthusiastic.
I will grant you the enthusiasm. I just it takes two essentially, and I'm a little responsible for that.
Yes, especially as the other one in this formula is in fact you.
My life was threatened. Our safety was threatened. This was an act of self-defense.
I'm not judging you for it. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page here.
He's just gonna brush past like whatever. I don't care about this book.
All right. You make your way to the stepwell. It is quite deep, and there's like number of like flights of steps to get to it. It's the part where it's becomes essentially a pool of water. Is about maybe 10 or 20 feet down, and then that pool is actually deep. Like it's graduated where there's sort of maybe a 4-foot area all around the edges where you can still kind of stand. Like there's another flight of steps, but eventually it goes to the point where it's like the deep end of a swimming pool where you can't actually stand and still be like waist high water or, you know, like neck up water. You actually will like it's like maybe 7 or 8 feet deep. And it's quite cool. It's very pleasantly cool. If you decide to wade into it, but I'm just setting the scene.
I think once we get
We
close
haven't
enough-
waded into it quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Still
so.
waiting to make that particular poor decision.
Up, like, you know, enough. I think Tulsi's just gonna run and jump.
But you see, Gojin just reaches out. It's like, wait, people drink water from this.
They also swim in this too.
we're going to be drinking water from this. This is where all our water comes until we leave tomorrow.
He just sighs and mutters, I guess I'm boiling water tonight.
Yeah, that might be advisable.
So what do you do at the step well, at the well? Because I would say you could be sort of halfway down. And it seems like the way the step well is constructed, there is a place where you could kind of do the diving board. But it is somewhat shallow. I mean, except for the middle where it's a little more deep, but
It was a cannonball, not a dive.
yeah.
Less dangerous.
Yes. So yeah, you cannonball. The water is very pleasant, and it's mostly clear. So you can kind of see these brick and stone under. And it's very pleasant. It's very relaxing. What are Gojin and Rahim doing aside from debating whether to go in or not?
Rahim's oh, Gojin, go ahead.
Yeah, Gojin's just going to sit on the lowest step without dipping his hands and feet into it, just because he has some decorum and does not want to ruin the well for other potential thirsty drinkers. But he'll have his sword across his lap, and he'll just be keeping watch.
I feel called out.
And Rahim?
Rahim is looking around for some signs of, like, maybe this was important to the bride in some way, if this is who he thinks it is. Maybe there's some clue on what's causing spirits to come here in specific and congregate, or maybe even something related to their entire investigation. Or our entire investigation. He's basically trying to see if there's anything, like, hidden in here.
Okay. I would say roll me a d20, please.
All right. A natural one.
Okay.
That's fun.
I'm gonna say actually, I don't think it's a choice, just bad shit happens.
Yep. It's just something terrible happens.
Yes. So you, in trying to you notice something that kind of catches your attention, and you kind of lean over, and you lean over a little too much, and you basically kind of just fall into the lake and get wet. And I will say something that isn't your, like, you lose some of your rations because they get soaked.
All right. They get soaked.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna fish those out just to be polite to whoever drinks water from this thing next and doesn't know we were in it.
I got it. And then you totally
This
just gonna swim
idea.
over and just like flick it out.
Yeah, and crawl out and see if I can figure out what it was that I missed in there. Oh,
Yeah, there isn't anything. It was maybe a glint of the eye or something of that sort. Like something that caught the water at the right angle in the right sort of a dime, but there isn't really anything there. However, Gojin, as you were sitting and watching, you notice out of the corner of your eye, like far above you, like in almost like in your barest periphery, behind all of this hubbub happening, where you kind of hear, oh, what's that? And then sploosh. And a lot of kind of sputtering and everything. You hear, you see a little glint of gold, and you hear kind of the sound of like tinsel bells, uh, tinkling, the barest, faintest sound in the distance, like the wind carried it.
Gojin just slowly tears his gaze away from his companions that are in the water and looks in the direction where he heard the sound.
And you see a figure dressed in red, but actually looks very familiar to you. Like you've seen that dress before. Several months ago. Maybe years ago. Before you left your home.
So Gojin is going to slowly stand up and hold his sword off to his side, and then just stare for a moment to try to figure out who this is.
Yeah, please roll me a d20.
Why did I choose to use this dice with black lettering on black stone? It's okay. That is an actual 20.
Okay. So as you look, initially you thought it was the dress that your fiance once a long time ago was going to wear for your wedding day. But as you look, it's similar colors and maybe similar design, but it isn't. It looks maybe about 50 years out of date. And you see a figure just sitting down, like kind of sitting down and knees up and like hands holding the knees, like when you sit comfortably and you're just watching passively. And from where her wrists are, you see the like it was described, the gold bangles with the little bells hanging over, and they're made of really flimsy gold foil, like they're meant, in certain wedding customs that the bride essentially it's the equivalent of like the North American bouquet where she kind of smashes her hands over every unmarried woman, and the one where it falls over is blessed with the next to be married next, or will have a good wedding or a good match. And they're just sort of blowing in the breeze, and she's just sitting there staring at what's happening down below. You can't see her face at the moment as she's wearing a veil that covers her head. But she sits there unmoving, staring at the scene ahead.
Gojin's going to return to his seat, and after a moment, he's just going to comment aside. This doesn't seem like a very good resting place.
Who are you saying that to?
Aloud, but sort of addressing the spirit to see if there's a reaction.
And suddenly next to you, the figure, kind of like as you're looking, the figure disappears and you see her next to you, just sitting in the same position. And she says, "No, but I like seeing people be alive. I like watching life. It's rare. People come here and then they leave.
Are you here because of some sort of unfinished business?
I don't know anymore. It's been so long. I don't even know why I'm dressed this way. All I remember was I was going to be married, and it was a big affair. And it was everyone from the village was coming, and more. I might have been someone big, or maybe my husband was big. I don't remember anymore. But then someone came and said something. I don't remember. Something about me? Or was it my husband? I don't remember. But it was enough to break the wedding. And our names erased as good people. And then maybe... I don't know. I don't remember. It's hard remembering. I see life to remind myself I once was here. Are you dead?
He just chuckles. Not yet. Sorry. Did we ever get the uncle's real name? Uncle Cat.
I don't think he ever told you. I am just checking. No, he did. Yeah, you do have the name. It's Rancha.
So does the name Ranja mean anything to you?
And she shakes her head.
We have raiders. So.
Oh, yay, raiders! Thank you so much for raiding Transplanar RPG.
We're talking with dead people.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Today, we are afraid of some ghosts.
There's a tree and ghosts. And a creepy bride that likes to watch. Well, she's not creepy. That's up to people.
She's lonely, and that's fair.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of creepiness you're allowed when you're a ghost, and we're well below that threshold.
Yes.
Yeah, so she says she doesn't know who Rancha is, and she says... she says, I remember that it was something, I don't know, the humiliation was quite great. And it exposed... Maybe it was my husband. It exposed my husband for who he really was. But because I was left at the altar, I was humiliated too.
Sorry. Gojin struggles very mightily right now not to feel guilty.
How's that knife in your back? Does it need a little turn?
I don't know. Maybe you want to add another 2 or 3.
At this point, you are done blubbering and fussing, and you both turn and see Gojin talking to himself. You are muted, Morgan.
Hit the wrong one. How far up is he?
Sorry, how far is who?
How far is Gojin, like, from, like, the water?
I'd say a couple of feet, I imagine. Picked a good spot to kind of have a good view of everything, and maybe a little up.
I think Tulsi looks at Rahim and it has like a look in their eyes as they like start like scooping some water.
Rahim gets out of the way and kind of crouches down and is waiting for this to happen. He's not willing. He's not stepping in here. He's going to let nature take its course.
And with that, they just do like one of those like weight pushes and just like tries to fling it up at Gojin.
All right. So before that water reaches you, Gojin, and you are still having this conversation, the bride's head tilts to you, and you see this weird kind of almost like when there's thousands of faces that kind of flash through, sort of a thing. So first it's a blank face, like there's no eyes, there's no mouth, just like a puppet sort of a thing, just a blank face. But it quickly starts recycling through multiple images, and the last one stays on a picture you know well, your ex-fiancé's, and says, "Everything has consequences." And then you get splashed with water. And
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, and then
the bride's no more. You don't see the bride.
you see, just Gojin just starts sputtering, and fumbles around with his sword, because he was just caught by surprise, and he manages to catch it before it falls into the water.
Yeah.
But then he just starts looking around frantically, like, where did it go?
You doing okay, buddy?
Where did what go?
Well, I'm still looking for clues here. I think Tulsi's just having a good time. But, what are you up to? I guess the pressing question.
He points with the handle of the sword to the area that the spirit was in. The spirit, it was right here.
I genuinely am not sure what you're referring to here.
You were talking about the pub. We didn't see anything.
I swear on all the tea in the world, the spirit that we're talking about was
deep.
right here.
That's some serious.
What did it like? Were you talk? Describe it for me.
And he does. It was a vaguely feminine figure wearing a red wedding dress with gold filigrees around
And
their
embroidery.
wrists. Embroidery. And she wore multiple faces.
Gonna be honest, the multiple faces thing, generally not a great sign for where this is going, but that's actually genuinely interesting. But Did she say anything in specific to you? Some idea of what?
She mentioned something about consequences.
Well, that's ominous.
Isn't it though? And Gojin just stands up, and he sort of just slows the remaining water droplets from his expression. Just says, "Well, I've had enough of haunted wells for one day."
Can't blame you there. Yeah, I think I found all I'm really going to here. If there's some secret here, I don't think it's revealing itself to me. Tulsi, you gonna stop polluting the water supply, or you're just gonna hang around for a bit?
I'm gonna grab some water too. It's fine.
Please don't drink directly from the well.
Please
get a cup.
Boil it first.
You see them already doing like a backstroke, like doing like one of those like, and just like has some water going. They're like, what?
Oh God.
And washing away all the dirt of the road.
Mm-hmm.
As well as Rahim when he accidentally took a bath.
Yeah.
But I think once if they start leaving, I think Tulsi's gonna swim to the edge and like start climbing out too.
Yep, by this point it is getting actually pretty dark. Like you were all hanging out in the stepwell, sort of with dusk and the last few bits of light. As you leave the stepwell, it's actually pretty dark, and only the light of the campfire is kind of what guides you to where you need to go. Although the night is a nice starry night. What do you all do?
Sit right next to the fire and just dry off.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to rest some distance away from the haunted tree.
Gojin is going to be drying off by the fire as well, but he'll also be writing a letter to his mother. And he's going to share some a little details and ask for a little assistance in dealing with a certain family that now wants him dead. And he will fold it up and he will seal it. Although he looks at it and kind of wonders if he's actually going to have enough courage to send that out the next time he sees a courier service that might be able to transfer it back over to Pathari.
Yep, probably in the next town that you stop for like a week or two. Because like the next trading hub. Yeah, so during the night, I would like all of you to roll a d20.
Let's see how bad this goes.
Natural 20.
Sorry, 1 second.
11.
10. I have to use my cell phone light to read my dice.
Get another die.
Rahim, what is your sort of like nightly ritual before you sleep for the night? Do you have one?
I think he does a short prayer in the night. He kind of checks over his stuff, makes sure he isn't missing anything, reviews notes on the day if he's taken any, which today he hasn't really. There's like one line going, possible lead in Stepwell, and then nothing afterwards because Stepwell didn't end up being relevant, and then he just kind of settles in to sleep.
Okay, so you do sleep, although at some point, something kind of like, you know how sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and there's no explanation? You just kind of just wake up. You wake up, and right in front of you is what looks like a little boy just staring at you.
Just Rob like blinks open, sees the kid, sits basically upright in his, I guess, sleeping pad or whatever we're sleeping on, and stares at this kid, looks to both sides of himself. So, you a ghost?
He just straight up asked them.
And the little kid says, "No, silly, I'm a spirit."
Good to know. What's brought you? Can I help you?
Maybe?
Ooh, I like a maybe.
Or maybe.
What you looking for, kid?
Well.
Need something investigated, something weird going on, just weird, vaguely interested in people? What we handling?
Well, I was watching you sleep, and then you woke up and saw me.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be able to see me. So why can you see me?
Let's see. At a guess, probably the cursed ring. Um, that feels like the sort of thing cursed rings end up doing.
What cursed ring?
He just kind of holds up his hand with the ring. So, it's gonna get me killed at some point. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You know, temporary problems and all of that. Have you seen anyone else, maybe one of the other spirits here, for example, with this ring?
No, silly, because if they had the ring, you wouldn't have the ring.
Okay, that's fair. But, like, you know, more suspiciously missing finger, mentioned or obsessed over a ring they had while they were alive. That sort of. This isn't going anywhere. Let's see. Other possibilities. I am, according to most people I meet, aggravatingly perceptive about things, which may, well, that doesn't feel like it's one of those things that helps you see ghosts. So, do you have any, what sort of person can normally see you when they inexplicably wake up in the middle of the night when they shouldn't know you're there?
Well, the last person who saw me like that was. I have to think, and sort of gets up and starts jiggling around like, you know, a kid trying to remember something. And says, "Oh, yes. Yes. There were these two men who had come here, and then they left again. Everyone leaves here. I don't know why everybody leaves. I don't have enough people to play with, and the other spirits just say to go away because I'm annoying. And well, they one of them saw me, and then we started talking because it was nice because I don't have anybody to talk to most of the time because all the other adults think I'm too small and I don't understand things, but I understand things very well. I'll have you know.
I can tell.
And so this man spoke to me and told me they had gone to this other place. And oh, yes. Had a ring that let them make anything they wanted. And I asked to be made a real boy. Unfortunately, the man said that I can't be made into a real boy. But maybe this. And pulls out a little puppet.
Ooh, that
That
is
looks like it's been temporarily kind of unhung from the tree. Just apparates in his hand.
very cool. I love the puppet. Um, how about this? We can play. Do you like Parcheesi, or what sort of games do you like?
Well, I do like tag.
Fair enough. So we can play tag, and between rounds of tag, why don't you tell me about these two men? And maybe you could tell me if they said where they came from or where they'd found the ring, if the guy mentioned that. And and we can play tag until you're bored of tag, or well, at least until the morning, because then I will need to. We're going to be leaving at some point. But does that sound fair?
And when you say leave, you see this very visible bout of like,
Hey. Don't worry about it. There'll be more people soon, and eventually this ring will show up on someone else's finger when they pass by here. Very possibly sooner than you'd think.
okay. Tag, you're it! And kind of touches you. And as the little kid touches you, you feel very, very cold.
Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the consequences of playing tag with the ghost.
And then just poof, disappears.
Well, I'm going to try and find this ghost and play tag with it to try and get some more information on these dudes.
All right, roll me a d20.
All right, 16.
Yeah, you see a wisp of kind of cloth near the tree, kind of hiding, not hiding very well, but kind of almost like in the tree. There's like a little wisp coming out, like, you know, like when someone phases through a tree, but not fully, just at the edge.
All right.
And as you play tag over a couple of minutes or so, you get the following information that kind of confirms what was in the journal, that the two did pass by and play, but the extra information you get is that every single item hanging on the tree was created by the ring. And it allows, you haven't quite figured out the full of it, but it essentially allows a physical manifestation of all these spirits here.
Oh.
And you find one doll that looks like a bridal doll with the golden things hanging.
Huh. So then the ring can create stuff with like magical or theological ramifications and lets you see ghosts. There is more going on with this ring than I was. That is good to know, but I'm not sure I'm going to touch the tree.
As you touch the tree, you hear several voices talking very loudly at once.
Can you hear me?
And there doesn't seem to be any response initially, but it's kind of sort of, there's a slight closing, like a slight sort of like as if everybody suddenly heard and they're slowly starting to pay attention. And suddenly all the dolls in the tree kind of stop moving around kind of to the wind and almost turn to you.
Oh, this was a mistake. Hey, hello. I am Rahim, and I apologize for disturbing you, uh, assorted spirits. But I believe someone with this ring passed by this tree before, and I need to know about them because I think someone has been doing pretty unpleasant stuff with this ring, and I need to know more to stop them. Can you help me?
And after a cacophony of sounds yet again as people start talking over each other, um, the little kid comes, like, sort of comes out of the tree and says, "Now you made them angry."
Oh, this is gonna suck. Um, I'm going to wait for some sort of other response. Like, maybe a bunch of ghosts try to murder me, but maybe one of them comes out and starts yelling, and that's could theoretically useful.
A figure, sort of apparates in front of you, and she is a very old crone dressed in like a white sari, which is to be like a widower's um colors and dress, and very old, wizened, and is basically putting all of her weight onto this very old wooden cane, and looks at you and says, "We do not like that ring."
Yeah, that's entirely fair. I'm not a fan either. Um, are you trapped here because of it? Do you know what? How? Why don't you like the ring? Because I don't like it because it is going to murder me at some point if I use it. Is that the same? Are we working on the same wavelength here, or is there something more personal about why you all don't like the ring much?
We don't like the ring. The the person that made all of these thought they were helping. But instead we cannot move freely. We are now tied to this place.
If I wreck the dolls, would that help?
No. He would destroy us as well.
If I took the dolls off the tree, would that help?
We'd still be in these dolls.
What? Let's see. Do you know how I could get you out of the dolls?
Well, we could just move somewhere else. It's been a while since I've been in a young, virile person, and sort of is looking you up and down.
Ma'am, there are several hundred people out to kill me right now. This is probably not the one you want to stick with. That said, there are a lot of people who are going to be coming after me at some point in the future, and if you want to take any of theirs when they show up, I am not going to object.
Well, I need your permission to enter you. but if you want to really help us, then I could be convinced.
All right, so you want out of here in general and out of the dolls in specific, and I need information on the dude who first had this ring so we can figure out how it came about and what its deal is and how to stop basically a psychotic megacorporation from getting its hands on it. What are you guys going to need to help me out here? Is taking the dolls on the trip enough for you, or are you looking for something a little heavier in terms of assistance?
Well, maybe someone who actually knows what they're doing can figure out what to do about the dolls, but taking it with you probably is a good step.
Good news, I might know someone. Bad news, she is badly hungover.
Well, I've been waiting for decades. I suppose I could wait a few more days. Now, mechanically, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you agree to, be host to a spirit or a couple, nothing really happens overall. It's just that anytime you roll and you fail, I get to control you for a little while. With your player consent and everything else, but
I am on board. I'll just kind of unhook the dolls as step one and agree to host them while we figure out the next steps on plan. See, I was going to go with plan maniacal ghost army, but considering the nature of this relationship, I feel like it's more
you can voluntarily give up control as a player. That is always an option for anything. You can always voluntarily fail or do things of bad consequences.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm on board. This sounds hilarious. Yeah, I think Rahim's a lot more reluctant than I am, but once it's clear that he can't get any information or help they may be able to provide without agreeing to this, he's going to agree to host the ghosts until we can figure out a secondary or a different way to resolve their plight.
Okay, so
sorry, he's gonna host all the ghosts?
Yes.
Is there any chance that anybody else in the party wakes up or hears?
Sure,
what's going on?
If you want to enter the scene, you may.
So Gojin is just going to say, without getting up, what do you think you're doing?
Making terrible deals for information, which was admittedly my job until pretty recently. I mean, ghosts are a bit different than the normal sort of person I'm making terrible deals with in exchange for information, but, same principle.
Wow, our party is going to be very large all of a sudden.
And the little kid says, "We're not ghosts, we're spirits, silly."
Do you think it's a good idea to carry a host of spirits with you? I feel like you're burdened pretty much.
No, not remotely. This is in fact a terrible idea. It is on board. It's up there with, let's put on this mysterious ring I just found. The owner won't notice, and there's nothing in the contract about not putting on the ring I just found. They have, however, encountered the previous owners of the ring, specifically the ones we're looking for, and so may know where they came from and where they're going. They're just not really willing to help if we don't help them with the stuck in the dolls in a tree situation. And the person who might be able to help with the stuck in the dolls in a tree situation is suffering from severe food poisoning at the moment. Hey, if you want to take the ghosts on instead of me, by all means.
Well, no. I'm just thinking that maybe it would be a better idea to split the ghosts.
I feel like that just means that more people are periodically possessed by ghosts, rather than having a reduced total severity of ghost possession.
Well, it basically means doing the same deal where rather than anytime you fail, you do the better of two things or you just fail, it just means I take control for the appropriate amount of time in the scene playing a ghost, possessing your body.
Does it have to be a body? Can't they be carried in something else?
Yes, but mostly I think they're not thrilled about being in something else. Them being in something else is why they are currently very angry.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of dolls here to carry. I don't know. And
I just had a terrible idea.
did you? Because Gojin holds up his sword.
So your issues with the dolls are basically, first, that you're in the small dolls, and second, that you're not moving around much and can't interact with the world or move on, correct?
Yes.
Let's say, theoretically, there is an artifact of supreme cosmic power that's always going to be traveling because it's generally worn by someone who wants to use it, and is therefore, so while it may not deal with the container issue, it will deal with the transport and new experiences issue, whether or not we are able to hold up to our end of the deal. Would that be amenable? Completely indestructible, can never be abandoned by anyone wearing it.
It's even smaller than these.
Can create literally anything at the slight chance of killing the wearer. I should not let you into this ring.
No,
the small chance of killing the wearer.
We want to feel what it's like to live again.
That's fair. Yeah. See, this is why I think that putting them in more people isn't necessarily going to solve anything, because it just means that more people are periodically getting possessed. And more often, since we're rolling more dice, since it's each of these people, each time someone who's possessed rolls.
What about a weapon? Can they possess a weapon?
Sword is larger than doll. And it gets to periodically feel blood and gore on its skin. Blade.
It's already occupied.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right.
I don't know. Maybe you can ask it to move into something else.
And the sword kind of somehow just disarms itself from you and kind of moves away.
Gojin is just gonna step on the sword to stop it from moving, and sighs and puts it back.
It's kind of vibrating and kind of somewhat of a slightly angered, but also slightly scared.
Okay. Well, I've got a bow and a quarterstaff.
I think Tulsi at this point is like just walking up with her items, like, why are you so loud?
We are making terrible decisions, Tulsi.
It's the middle of the night. Can I wait till morning?
I feel like the ghosts might be angry at me if I just kind of put them off till morning.
Oh, hi, tree.
And you don't really hear much from the tree. It's kind of more tree-like.
That's a good tree. Why are you making bad choices? What's going on?
The ghosts know stuff about the guys who previously had the ring.
Hmm.
We're not ghosts, silly. We're spirits.
The spirits are to go know stuff about the guys who previously had the ring.
Hey, spirits. I don't know if you can hear me. Can just wait till morning?
And you hear a childish voice, Tulsi, saying, "You're pretty."
Oh, thank you.
And you have to look a little more lower, like down, child sized.
Oh, I think they look up first and they're like, oh yeah, child down.
Can I live in you?
Oh. Oh no. That's a I'm just gonna no. Tulsi just sort of turns around and walks back to the campfire.
Aw, she didn't want to play.
Yeah, so Gojin, any chance you've come up with a alternate solution in the past couple of minutes, or are we going through with, or am I going to be going through with my plan, as it were?
No, unless any one of the spirits decides that they feel like residing in a quarterstaff or a bow for a little while. I figured I might as well have a complete set of weapons with personalities.
You
I
see,
use that term loosely.
you see one very skinny, slightly tall, uh, like man, maybe more like a teenager, kind of eyeing the quarterstaff.
Yeah, so it's actually very ornate. There's a lot of designed Pathari carvings into it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's obviously well taken care of.
Do you use it a lot?
Yeah, I use it more often than the sword.
Can I? And sort of looks to the old crone. Can I take this one? And the old crone kind of sighs and says, "Yes, fine if you want. Spirit of hard knocks."
Wow, that is so apropos.
Well, that's at least one less spirit I'm going to end up with in my head. So, thank you, Gojin.
Anybody like shooting arrows? Maybe.
No one else steps up.
Oh. Well,
We
it's all right.
appreciate the attempt.
And yeah, so do you take the deal?
Yeah, I'm taking the deal. It seems like our best shot at information here.
All right. And Gojin, or Nabir, you said you were slightly interested in taking this deal. Are you also taking this deal?
Just to be clear, it's
the being possessed, basically a vessel for spirits.
Oh, I have to be the vessel. I can't just, let the spirit inhabit my quarterstaff for a while.
Oh no, one will inhabit your quarterstaff. I was talking about the rest.
Oh no, I'm not taking the rest of that deal. That's a sucker's bet.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to be very clear whether that's okay. So as you accept it, the old crone kind of basically walks into you, And for a couple of minutes, you feel the aches and pains of all your joints. Every single one. And you feel the urge to have some sort of a stick to steady yourself as you walk back. And you get stronger as you walk back and no longer need it, but you may need to use that quarterstaff for the trip for the walk back.
Okay. Well, I could see my excellent decisions already paying off.
Congratulations, you just aged 60 years.
Yep. As you do.
Oh gosh.
Okay. So, we're gonna move a little more along. Morning comes, and you set off to the next village. Do you want to quickly have a chat about anything amongst all of you before we make it to the next town?
Not that I can think of.
I think Tulsi's like eating breakfast with them. It's like, so how'd it go?
I might need to buy a cane at the next town.
Oh.
You're fine now. Just occasional twinges, like like in the weather, when it's a little too humid, you feel your joints hurt a little. Very minor annoyance.
Good to know.
But you're otherwise perfectly fine.
Huh. Good to know.
Sorry, I was interrupting your conversation with Dulcie. Or are you good?
I'm good. I don't think I really had anything to really add in specific.
I think Tulsi looks at Gojin like, do you agree to?
Oh, goodness, no. I think my head is crowded enough with issues as is.
Issues? You don't seem like the guy with issues.
Well, I'm traveling with a talking cat, a giant scoundrel of a lizard, a unwell doctor, and you.
Oh, I
No
don't get
offense.
unscriptive? Dang.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to leave you out like that. And a nature hippie.
By the way, every time you accidentally kind of knock or your quarterstaff falls, you hear a big knock knock.
Great.
I may not have made the worst deal to that night.
Maybe not. But we're gonna have to get a nice little carrying case for this thing now. But and I'm running away from a murderous group of merchants. And my only solace is, well, your companionship and tea. So,
Oh, I bring solace.
well, a modicum of solace, but sure.
Fair.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, oh, Gojin, you didn't see the Bright anymore, or whoever you saw at the sleeping well, or sleeping well, the step well.
No,
Huh.
no. He just looks around carefully, hoping that he doesn't see anything else.
The bride puppet is just somehow on top of your backpack goods or whatever.
He just looks at that and goes, "Huh. Um, huh. Where are all the other dolls? Are they all?"
Where did you put all the other dolls, Rahim?
I think they're mixed in with they're mostly with my stuff because oh no, Judd's I'm gonna put a bunch of them with Judsley's stuff because she's the specialist in ghosts. Um,
So,
Dawn's just
Gojin,
gonna wake up from her hangover and be like, "What's this? Like souvenirs? You're welcome."
And Dulcie, you always find the smallest, the little boy doll seems to always make its way into your backpack.
Okay. As long as it's there and not inside me, we're okay.
Yeah.
Gojin's going to try to take the doll, the bride doll, and tuck it in with Johnsley.
And it somehow makes its way to your stuff always at night, and by the end of the every time you think you've put it somewhere else, it just mysteriously shows back up.
You're stuck with it.
At one point in the night, he's just going to stare at it and just say, "I'm not marrying you."
The doll says nothing because it's a doll.
Just so we're clear, once the lizard exercises all of you, we're done.
It just stares back at you, faceless.
Damn it.
Okay, so you enter this new town that is similar to Bunyapur in terms of it's again another. It seems to be one of the trading villages where there are people who live there, and but most of the um, activity and economic and activity and people that are there are merchants of various kinds from different regions. And the caravan is going to stay here for about a week. And you see Ranjha, or rather Uncle Cat at this point, kind of shuffle off and disappear for, as in sort of just walks off, you think in search of food. And after about a day or two, Ranjha comes back and has, as not as a cat, as a human, and looks very perturbed.
What's wrong?
I've been trying to find out information of what's happening. And it turns out that maybe they're not looking for us anymore. I'm not sure. They could still be looking out for you, but apparently there's going to be a wedding very soon. You know, of the current heir, the one you mugged.
Hey.
So it looks like they're marrying a very wealthy princess from Shabad.
Oh, we should probably warn her. Oh, that could.
I mean, the good news is I think that's happening because she's quite wealthy and they're running out of money because they don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a very public affair. And
Are we going to a wedding?
maybe?
I think we're ruining a wedding.
I've never worn a sari before, or like done the jewelry or the henna.
I am going to feature in both of this kid's worst days of his life. And if the previous one didn't count, I will find an opportunity after the wedding.
Gojin just looks really, really concerned. And he's just going to say, so I'm under the impression that we don't want to find any more trouble. Johnsley, back me up here.
You hear a grunt.
See, Johnsley's on board for the wedding. Who dares wins, Gojin? You move too slowly.
I just don't see how this is going to resolve any of our problems.
Look, it'll let us discredit them publicly, at least in theory. We can get assuming the princess's family isn't like in on it, which I would expect they aren't because no one plans to marry into a suddenly broke family that hasn't revealed that they're suddenly broke for no gain. We have the ledgers, and we can, and if we publicly stop them from getting wealth they could use to come after us, and in the process give other people in the nobility a reason not to like them, we're a lot more likely to be able to bring them to justice for their crimes, even if technically the better way to do that would be like to approach the bride's family beforehand, show them all these handy dandy ledgers we stole, and go, hey, you're being scammed. But it's a lot less dramatic than breaking into a wedding and ruining and making it the worst day of this kid's life. Or, well, I say kid, he's like in his 20s or something,
Yeah.
right?
Also,
He's
you will
almost as
know
old as
for
I
a
am.
big wedding, especially a royal wedding like that a lot of nobility would be there. So it would be a lot of merchants, a lot of the people in the movers and shakers, the people in the know, and even to a certain extent, it would be a big public event for that particular city and maybe even for that particular province.
Yeah, we could do this. We could blow this wide open in front of everyone in a way they can't cover up or kill us to recover from. It means they're going to want to murder us more, but we've already went it, like, that ship has sailed. We mugged this dude in his house, and you killed one of his guards. That's the sort of thing people take personally, especially once they now have the power of a royal family behind them.
Man, you guys are never going to let me down for that. You're welcome for saving you guys, by the way.
Oh, I got myself out there. I didn't need your help. But I appreciate it. I feel like I'm just staring at Tulsi, just like.
His fingers are certainly twitching on the quarterstaff.
And you hear a very small knock, knock.
I'm not finishing that joke.
Who's there?
Knock, knock.
Oh.
No. We're not going to hit.
Ooh,
The nature
thank
hit
you
me.
so much for the raid, Dicey Amazons.
Bye, y'all.
They are good beans. Please check them out. And you are catching us on the tail end as we are finishing up a scary story. Well, not scary. Spooky. Of a tree and ghosts and bad decisions.
Very bad
And
decision.
consequences.
And consequences.
Yep.
Hallmark of any good tabletop role-playing game.
Consequences.
Yep.
That will be the next episode. Consequences. If there isn't any other conversation we want to have, I will actually think this is a good place to stop. As you ponder what to do next, you have a possessed quarterstaff? Question mark. And and a lizard folk that now is the hostess with the mostest for a bunch of spirits. And hopefully Jensely will recover for next episode, which is actually going to be next week. I didn't want to wait a month between each episode as life has happened and also various other things. So we played today. We're going to have a episode next week, and then we will go back to our schedule until end of November, early December. So there's not that many episodes for this little volume, and well, it's not volume. It's kind of like season, I guess. Or story arc. So with that, let's go around the table really quickly. I'll do Connie's in sort of intro where I should have those notes. But you can find Connie on Transplanar RPG as the GM of their persistent campaign. Which is pretty awesome. I'm going to put a link up here. And actually, I'm just going to put the command for the chat. And with that, let's go around the table. And you can get all the information there as well.
All right. I'm Bashir Gauss. You can find me on Twitter at Bashir Gauss. And you can find my work on itch at havocfet.itch.io. I also freelance for a lot of your favorite tabletop RPG companies. And statistically, I've probably written something for them that's coming out in the next year or so.
All right, Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Link is in chat. I really enjoyed Tulsi's utter lack of regard for safe drinking water.
It's fine. Look, they said we can get clean in there. They did not say how.
I appreciated the fact that we got into a lot of trouble for no reason whatsoever. So thanks, Rakim, for that. And then I do so enjoy Mariam sticking one of the knives that I gave to her at the beginning of this campaign into my back when I least expected it. So awesome. Follow me over on thanks. So follow me on Twitter. The next time you will find me will be on the Wandering DM channel this Friday evening for the next exciting episode of Cyberpunk Red. Lots of things are going on, so be sure to tune in for that. I am also appearing on Saturdays at 1 p.m. over on the Level Up Dice channel for a campaign of Scion hosted by Wandering DM as well. And then Saturday nights, that's right, I am doing a doubleheader. You'll see me on Praxagora Thesmophoria's channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for a TTRPG called The Regiment, in which we all play very, very dramatic, very political members of a British cavalry during the Peninsular War. So lots of range on stuff. And then because the Origami Shuriken is in chat, I'll plug our Sunday game as well, which is Dark Matter at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Other Doc channel. It's a adaptation of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but in space. So that's it. That's all my stuff.
Yay.
Yeah.
And Morgan.
All right. Hello, I'm Morgan. You can find me on my socials at Serena Bezos. I had a delight playing the disaster child that is Tulsi. Things I do, where to find me. First off, just follow me. Serena Bezos, Twitter, Instagram, what have you. Schedule. My next thing is going to be next Wednesday because actually I'm not on anything until next week. I know, I'm surprised too. It's wild. However,
Gasp.
I know. However, the following week, after the 28th, the 30th, I will be on the Twinkle on Lord Neptune, Ryan Bolton's thing, playing Chimera. We'll be doing second part of our session 0. Chimera RPG, I believe this Friday will be with Almer here on Huetopia, where they are running their game. So I'll be playing in the other game, the other Wednesday, Friday. So watch both, enjoy both, back the game whenever it comes out. Yeah. On the 1st, yeah, I'm looking at my schedule. I make the calendar now. I play Apocalypse Keys with Sean Nittner over on Actual Play with Jamie and Jen Martin. Or he says Sean. Sean's fantastic. Love him. And podcast stuff. Find me on the Roleplay Network. Red Death. Powered by the Players. Yeah. Other stuff. I do. Yes. Okay, back to you, Mariam.
Thank you. Not thank you for handing it over, but it's like thank you for doing all your stuff.
I do so much.
Yeah, so I am Mariam, the guide for this wonderful disaster crew. And you can find me occasionally playing in games over here on Game Roulette, which which is on Thursdays. So I believe our next game is going to be next week. Yes. It'll be 10 Candles, GM'd by Wild Engineer. It is going to be great, spooky fun. And you can see me there. You can also see me lurking around in general on Huetopia as a co-caretaker. And on other stuff, there's a lot of planned projects. I'm not sure I can quite talk about all of them, but I can talk about this, that I am a stretch goal for Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which is currently on Kickstarter right now. And lots and lots of wonderful people, even from this channel, who are running stuff. Like, I know Ajay is a stretch goal, Umer's a stretch goal. Oh my god, so many people are a stretch goal. Definitely, if you are thirsty and you like swords and you like lesbians and all three of them, you should back this game.
Sold.
Yeah, it's amazing, and they've just blown through the water so many of the stretch goals. And also you can find me on Prism Pals and the Musafirs. And I think that's about it for me. Yeah, if you want to find out more about me, you can check me out on Twitter at media_junkie. And speaking of disasters, we are going to raid no longer the unnatural disasters, and now I believe it is we're gonna raid All Nerds here, which, if you can stick around for a little while, with the Unnatural Disasters crew that is now playing a wonderful game of Haven, I think Ghosts of Haven. So yeah, stick around and go give them some love, and we will all see you next week. Usually it's every alternate week, but to make up for not doing anything last week, we did one today. So we're gonna be there next week, and then it's gonna be back to bi-weekly. All right, everyone awkwardly wave while I transition us, and we will see you next week. Bye!